Omagyanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurumnitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeyam Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamanam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Shri Rupa Sagrajata Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tum Siddham Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padasagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Sapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakapatarubhyascha Kipasindhu Vyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So you're welcome to today's section. Quickly, do we have any shloka for recitation?
Yes, Prabhu. Previously, we had verses 15, in the chapter 15, verse 7 and verse 15, right? Verse 7 and then verse 15.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
It's been
Very good.
weeks.
So let's continue. Those who are ready. Yeah. I hope you have been practicing for during that period. Okay, so let's start. Let's continue. Those who are ready to recite, go ahead. Yeah. Okay, let's start.
Okay, I'll start first. Okay, chapter 15, text 7. Mamayavam shojiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha manasashtanindriyani prakritishtani karshati. Translation: the living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. Chapter 15, text 15. Sarvasya jahamriti saniveshto Matasmityogyanamakwanam cha Vedascha Sarvarahame Bhavejo Vedanta Kridveda Vedivachaham. Translation: I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Okay, next.
I'll go next.
Yes, please.
Chapter 15, verse 7. Mamaivanso jibaloke jibabhuta sanatanaha manaha sastananindriyani prakriti karsati. Translation: the living entities in this conditioned world are my fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which included the mind. That's it for this one.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, next. Okay, Prabhu. Chapter 15, verse 7. Maivam shojiva loke jeva bhuta sanatanaha manashastani indriyani prakritistani karshate. Translation: the living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they struggle very hard. What's that? With the six senses, which includes the mind. Chapter 15, verse 15. Sarvasya, no. Wait, Prabhu. 1 second. I kind of forgot. 15. It's right. It's correct. Okay. Chapter 15, verse 15. Sarvasya chaham ridisa nivishto matas mitirgya namapo hanam cha Vedas cha sarvar aham eva vedyo Veda krit Veda vid eva chaham. Translation: everyone, I am seated in everyone's heart. 1 second, Rabo. Translation: I am seated in everyone's heart. From me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of the Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. Hare Krishna.
Okay. I wish the other devotees take it serious, at least to learn one of the two from the chapter 15. These are very important verses, 7 and 15. So anyone you learn is okay. If you can learn only 7, you can learn only 15. Even if it's ordinary translation also, it's okay. Very nice. Thank you very much for those who have done that. So let's continue from where we stopped yesterday. So yesterday we summarized the chapter 16, and so today we're going to be starting from chapter 16, verse 1. Okay. So Krishna is going to describe in chapter 16, the beginning, Krishna is going to describe those godly qualities. Like we mentioned before, so Krishna is immediately going to start from chapter 16, when they describe godly qualities that he mentioned in chapter 15 about being the fruit or the fruit of this material, the ashwata, the tree, the banyan tree, which is the reflection of the real tree in the material world. So you're going to mention the fruit. There are two kinds of fruits, the bad and the good. So the good is those godly divine qualities, and the bad is the demoniac qualities. So Krishna is going to mention these two, and I'm going to concentrate later on in this chapter on those bad qualities that make people to become demoniac. So when we talk about demoniac or demons, we're not talking about somebody with horns and tail. We're talking about those who have those bad qualities in them. So that is what they mean by demons. Okay, and we're going to see that mostly, though, if you are not following the scriptural injunction, or you are not surrendered to Krishna, or you are not following godly life, practically you are a demon, no matter who you are. If you are not following the scripture, if you are not living your life based on the scripture, so to the extent we are deviating from the scripture, we are all little demons, something like that. Okay, so it's not about having arms and tails and big teeth, like that. No. Are you following scriptural injunction? Are you living your life based on the scripture? That is what practically Krishna is going to be talking in this chapter 16. So let's continue. I think some of the students are going to take their exam, so may not be available today. It's all right. So we should pray for them so that they can do well in their exam, okay? Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Abhayam Sattva Samshudhi Jnana Yoga Vastiti Adamascha Jagyascha Swadhyaya Tapasarjavan Ahimsa Sattva Krudas Tyaga Shanti Aparshunam Daya Bhuvano Glupam Gaban Re Ashapan Tejacham Andriti Shocham Adonaiti Manita Padam Devam Abhijatasya Bharata. These are 26 qualities mentioned in Krishna, and we are supposed to cultivate these qualities. If we want to consider ourselves to be saintly or godly, we are supposed to cultivate all these qualities. What are they? The Supreme Personality of God said, fearlessness, purification of one existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from hunger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault-finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, envy, and from passion for honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharat, belong to complete men and
Nawala si Prabhu Kavi.
Time to chika.
Mata! Hare Krishna! Ay! Madami!
what was going on? What was going on?
Meet and greet.
Prabhu, you were disconnected for a little while.
Yeah, I understand. But the class is online. You know. Sorry, let's continue. Okay, let's continue. So all these quality mentioned here, these are divine quality we are supposed to cultivate as a devotee. Sometimes as a devotee, we are practicing our devotional service. And we don't cultivate these qualities. We just think that this quality will come on their own. Yes, if you are attentively chanting Hare Krishna mantra, they may come on their own if you are attentively chanting. But most of the time, we are not attentively chanting our Hare Krishna mantra. We are chanting attentively. And most of the time, we are chanting offensively. So this quality are not going to come like that if you don't chant attentively. You see? So there are many years people are practicing devotional service and they are not consciously cultivating these qualities. They are not consciously cultivating them. And they themselves, they are wondering, what is going on? Why am I so easily become angry, still full of lust, greed, all these things. We cannot easily forgive, somebody offend us, where forgiveness is like, oh, no, I cannot do that. Fortitude, cleanliness, freedom from envy, passion from honor, aversion to fighting. This quality Krishna mentioned here, gentleness. So we are expecting all this quality to come just like a miracle, but it's not. Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, we're going to study the purport here. We're going to read one by one those qualities and we'll discuss about them. So we are supposed to cultivate them. What is the meaning of cultivation? Can somebody tell me the meaning of cultivation?
To grow.
To grow. Thank you. Like somebody, like a farmer always cultivating a land. You put a seed there, then you want to make the plants to grow. You have to make sure that there's no, all this disease try to attack the plants. You protect the seed. The weeds are coming up to attack the plant. So cultivation means you have to always be caring for that plant. Similarly, also, we are supposed to cultivate all these divine qualities. We're going to read them. Some of them are for science. Prabhupada mentioned in the purport. Some of them are for, they are spread across the Varnashram Dharma. Some are supposed to be for the Sannyasi and the Brahmacharis. Some are meant for the Grihasthas. Some are meant for for the Grihasthas. Some are meant for Vanaprasthas. So, as a devotee, are we making efforts to cultivate some of this quality that is, supposed to be for our own ashram or particular nature? Are we making endeavor? The other day I was discussing with Jagannananda Prabhu, and we were analyzing that. Actually, when we talk about forgiveness, it looks so simple. But it's very difficult for a Shudras to forgive. When we talk about forgiveness, for a Brahmana, it's very easy for a Brahmana to forgive. Because that is a Brahmana, if you say you're a Brahmana, means, okay, easy to forgive. Forgive. Because as a Brahmana, your heart is a resting place for Krishna. So you don't want to keep anyone in your heart unnecessarily. Because when you say forgive means that you don't want to keep people in your heart. So for a Brahmana, it's very easy to forgive. But for a Shudra, oh my God, a Shudra can be difficult to forgive. So, and also we're discussing, also we're analyzing a Kshatriya. A Kshatriya, they are very, are vengeful by nature. They want to, they want to revenge. By nature, that is their nature. Very difficult to forgive a Kshatriya. But they are vengeful by nature. Vaishya also, But for a Brahmana, very easy for a Brahmana to forgive. That is why you see, when we talk about forgiveness, even in the society, only very few people cultivate this kind of attitude. Because it's not for everyone, actually. But Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada has created Krishna consciousness to cultivate, help us to cultivate Brahminical life. So once we are in Krishna consciousness, we are automatically trying to cultivate Brahminical life. So we are supposed to make endeavor to cultivate some of these qualities. So let's go through. We're going to read and dive some. Prabhupada is going to define some of these words and the ashram that those qualities are meant for. Then we will talk a little about them. Then we'll continue like that. And if you have any question in between, you can ask. Once we get to this, Prabhupada is defining each quality one by one. So we take turns to read them and we can deliberate on them also. Okay? So let's start.
I'll read it.
Please go ahead, Mother India.
In the beginning of the 15th chapter, the banyan tree of this material world was explained. The extra roads coming out of it were compared to the activities of the living entities, some auspicious, some inauspicious. In the 9th chapter, also the devas, or godly, and the asuras, the ungodly, or the demons, were explained. Now, according to the Vedic rites, activities in the mode of goodness are considered auspicious for progress on the path of liberation. And such activities are known as Daivi Prakriti, transcendental by nature. Those who are situated in the transcendental nature make progress on the path of liberation. For those who are acting in the mode of passion and ignorance, on the other hand, there is no possibility of liberation. Either they will have to remain in this material world as human beings, or they will descend among the species of the animals or even lower life forms. In this 16th chapter, the Lord explained both transcendental nature and its attendant qualities, and the demoniac nature, that is qualities. He also explained the advantages and disadvantages of these qualities. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. So Prabhupada mentioned here that if we want to get liberation from this world, what did Prabhupada said? What did he say? Somebody, can somebody remind us what Prabhupada mentioned here in the purport? We want to get liberated from this world. What should we do?
You should be on the path of transcendental progress.
Yes.
Transcendental liberation.
Yeah, to attain liberation, yes. We should attain what qualities, what activity we should do in what mode?
Mode of goodness.
We should bring goodness.
Thank you. Thank you very much. In the mode of goodness. Thank you. Yeah. So that is the whole essence of Krishna consciousness. That is the whole essence of Krishna consciousness. To help us to develop the mode of goodness. Because only when we cultivate the mode of goodness and we develop this transcendental nature, that we can get out of this material world. Meanwhile, those who are absorbed in the mode of passion and ignorance, they will remain here on earth, or they will be more degraded to the lower species of life, like dog and cats and all the others. Like that. So activity in the mode of goodness is liberating. An activity in the mode of passion and ignorance is conditioning. That is all what we discussed in chapter 14. That is the same thing Krishna is saying, he repeated it again in chapter 15. And he taught us that if you want to get out of this material bondage, you have to be detached, and describing all the different, the qualities, and here Krishna again going to stress more on these qualities in this chapter 16, and in chapter 17 and 18, going to emphasize in the different activity of different modes: goodness and passion and ignorance. Because already now it's establishing that when you act in the mode of goodness, you want to liberate yourself. But when you continue to act in the mode of passion and ignorance, you are going to condition yourself more and more into this material world. So Krishna wants to take his time now to explain those things that are liberating and conditioning. Now he already started by talking about this the activity itself, in nature. So let's continue from the next paragraph. Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody want to read?
I
You can
can
take
read.
turns to read. Actually.
I can read,
We take
Prabhuji.
turns. Yeah.
The word abhijahatasya in reference to one born of transcendental qualities or godly tendencies is very significant. To beget a child in godly atmosphere is known in the Vedic scriptures as, how do you call it?
Garbhadana
Samskara.
samskara. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. If the parents wants a child in the godly qualities, they should follow the 10 principles recommended for the social life of the human being. In the Bhagavad Gita, we have studied also before that sex life for begetting a good child is Krishna himself. Sex life is not condemned, provided the process is used in Krishna consciousness. Those who are in Krishna consciousness at least should not beget children like cats and dogs, but should beget them so that they may become Krishna consciousness. Beget children like cats and dogs, but should beget them so they may become Krishna conscious after birth. That should be the advantage of children born of a father and mother absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. So Prabhupada is talking about here the importance of begetting children in Krishna consciousness. So what Prabhupada is trying to explain here actually is very simple. You want to populate this material world with people of good transcendental nature. Everything begins from the sex life. Everything begins from birth. Okay, everything begins from birth. Means if you want to attract people with godly nature into this world, everything begins from birth. What is the consciousness of the parents during the union? Okay, if the consciousness of the parents is about enjoyment, so you are going to bring children into this world who are only in the mode of passion and ignorance. Okay, and if the consciousness of the parent is, okay, we want a godly child, so they prepare, like Prabhupada said, okay, they chant 50 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So in that way, the parents will attract a particular kind of child, into this world. In that way, we can increase the population of people with divine qualities. But the more people engage in sex life or sense gratification, and from that having children, the more we're going to populate this world with the children with demoniac tendencies. And there's nothing we can do about that. That is why this process is given in the Vedic scripture, Garbhodam Samskara. Garbhodam Samskara means the right for begetting child. And Prabhupada already gave us this. In India, there's some rituals you have to perform, and the jagya and all those things. It's like it's been prepared. Okay, the husband and wife, they pick a date, okay, this night, and they do some jagya, they do some prayers. So they go inside the room. So every consciousness, everything is about, okay, we want to bring a child into this world. It's prepared. So in that way, when you consciously engage in the heart, you consciously attract a particular living entity into this world. Unlike, oh, we are just enjoying and a child comes. Yeah, what are you? You have attracted somebody. You don't prepare for that person. And that is how actually, that is how many of us are attracted to this world. So we should not be surprised that that we have some demoniac nature in us. So we should not be surprised, okay? But we are very thankful to Prabhupada, who has given us opportunity to purify our consciousness. But that is how many of us are attracted to this world. We just our parents were just enjoying themselves, and boom, we are there. We can they can some of the parents, they try to do away with the children, and the children sometimes possibly stay. No, I want to enjoy. I want to come here. So just imagine some child. What can you do? There's nothing you can do. I remember the famous footballer Ronaldo. He was telling about his lifetime, how his mother tried to abort him many times, but still he could not. So there's some situation like that also, you see. So everything has to come from how to populate the universe. In the beginning of creation, this is how God created the process. That is why in Satya Yoga, people with divine nature were more prominent on earth, because God has created a process on how to populate the earth with godly beings. During the beginning of creation, the Prajapatis, when Lord Brahma created the Prajapatis, when they give them the assignment to procreate, they will go for thousands of years of austerity. After performing austerity for thousands of years, then they will come together to start procreation. In that way, the living entity that were procreated in the planet during that period, we are all saintly beings, godly beings. So that is the process of the creation. Everything begins with Garbhodhan Samskara. So in Kali Yoga, nobody is following any of these scriptural injunctions. And that is why we have created demoniac living entity for ourselves, and we are all suffering it. We are all suffering it. Okay, so let's continue. Somebody else read in the next paragraph.
Okay, I'll read.
Yes, please.
The social institution known as Varnashram Dharma, the institution dividing society into 4 divisions of social life and 4 occupational divisions or caste, is not meant to divide human society according to birth. Such divisions are in terms of educational qualifications. They are to keep the society in a state of peace and prosperity. The qualities mentioned herein are explained as transcendental qualities meant for making a person progress in spiritual understanding so that he can get liberated from the material world.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So here Prabhupada is talking about Varnashram Dharma. What is the meaning of Varnashram Dharma? Varna and Ashrama. The Dharma of Varna and Ashrama. Varna means the what do you call it? The social community. And Ashrama means the spiritual order. Varna means the social order, and Ashrama means the spiritual order. What are the 4 social orders? We have the Brahmana, we have the Kshatriya, we have the Vaishya, and we have the Shudras. This is the social order, the different kind of living entity we have in the planet. And the Ashrama means everyone in the social order must go through this spiritual order at the particular points in their life. Ashrama means we have the Brahmachari, we have the Grihastha, we have the Vanaprastha, and we have Science. So for the social order, we have the Vaishya, Kshatriya, and Brahmanas. They are the ones who are more inclined to follow this spiritual order. The Shudras, always very difficult for them to follow these spiritual orders, like remaining brahmachari from 25 years of their age, of their life, Then after 25 years, then they get into married life, or then after 25 years again, they enter into panaprastha, means detachment from grihastha life. And then after 25 years, then they become a renounced order of life. So the society created by Krishna in the beginning of creation meant to put human beings in this kind of social and spiritual orders of life. And if you look in our society, you will see these social and spiritual orders of life in a subtle way, very subtle. Now, because it's not very prominent, because in the age of Kali, according to the scripture, we are all Shudras, means we are all laborers. But when you look very deeply, you still find this social and spiritual order to some extent. I will give you an example. Just like we have the Brahmana, in every society you go in this world, Brahmana, you always have those who are intelligent class of people, those who want to just, who are cultivating knowledge, who just want to cultivate knowledge, who want to be spiritual, godly, just in any society you go, whether be it in the Western world, in the Eastern world, anywhere, you will find this kind of calibers of people there. They just dedicate their life for knowledge, cultivating of knowledge. So these people are naturally supposed to be Brahmanas. Okay, then you have the Kshatriya, the administrators, the warriors, administrators and the warriors. You know, when any society you go, you find these people naturally. Then we have the Vaishyas, the business, the mercantile community, those who are naturally inclined to be doing business, the bankers, the farmers, you know, all these people, they are under that category of Vaishya. And then we have the Shudras, the laborers, those who are supposed to be supporting these three classes. But you can see the modern civilization is created in such a way that they want everybody to operate as a Shudra. Only very few human beings say, no, I don't want to be a Shudra. I want to just cultivate knowledge. I feel just like cultivating knowledge. That is what I want to do. I just want to teach. I want to study. I want to teach others. This is what I want to do. I don't want to be a laborer. I don't want to work for anyone. Only very few in the society you feel that we like reject how we are being programmed in the society. Generally, modern civilization is programming us to become Shudras. You have to be worker. You just have to depend on salary for the rest of your life. You have to do this. You know, don't think for yourself. Let us do the thinking for you. You know, like that. So you can see. So the purpose of this social and spiritual order is to gradually purify us so that we can become detached from these material activities we are doing. That is how God organized this, the material world. He wants us to, after engaging in all our social activities, gradually we should climb the ladder of the spiritual orders also, and eventually we should become renounced or detached from material activities, which is called science orders of life. So this is how God wanted us to act in his creation. But many a times we don't want to follow this God's plan. So we all have way we want to do our things. Like in this, if you go to some particular society, they don't even understand that you have to, at a particular age in life, you have to, you know, become detached from your family, you know, just focusing on God and dedicate your life in helping others to develop knowledge about God. Some society, they don't even know about it. They don't even teach these kind of things in the society. So that is what Prabhupada is trying to revive in Krishna consciousness, that everyone at a particular point of their life must take into these renounced orders of life, because this is how Krishna has created this society, and this is how Krishna wanted us to operate. So let's read more about this Valanshram Prabhupada explaining here. Somebody else.
Read it, Prabhu.
Yes, please go ahead.
In the Varnashrama institution, the sannyasi, or the person in the renounced order of life, is considered to be the head or the spiritual master of all the social statuses and orders. A brahmana is considered to be the spiritual master of three other sections of a society, namely the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and the Shudras. But a sannyasi, who is on the top of the institution, is considered to be the spiritual master of the brahmanas also. For a sannyasi, the first qualification should be fearlessness, because a sannyasi has to be alone without any support or guarantee of support. He has simply to depend on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one thinks, after I leave my connections, who will protect me, he should not accept a renounced order in life. One must be fully convinced that Krishna, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is his localized aspect, as Paramatma is always within. That he is seeing everything, and he always knows what one intends to do. One must thus have firm conviction that Krishna, as Paramatma, will take care of a soul surrendered to him. I shall never be alone. One should think, even if I live in the darkest regions of a forest, I shall be accompanied by Krishna, and he will give me all protection. That conviction is called abhayam, fearlessness. This state of mind is necessary for a person in the renounced order of life. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. So Prabhupada explaining the now Prabhupada started explaining all this quality based on the Vana Ashrama. Okay, so Prabhupada pick the head of the society, which is the Sayansi, which is the head of the ashrama. We have ashrama, we have brahmachari, we have grihastha, we have vanaprastha, and we have Sayansi. So Prabhupada explaining this purport how brahmana is the head of the social order, and the Sayansi is the head of both this ashrama, the spiritual order, and all the other one also, even the social order. So Sayansi is the topmost in the Varnashram system. So the first quality Krishna mentioned in this verse, which is abhayam, fearlessness. This is supposed to be a quality developed by a Sayansi, one who has renounced this world. You must have full faith in Krishna, that no matter whatever happens, Krishna will protect me, and Krishna will protect me and provide for me. That should be the consciousness of a Sayansi. I remember once the past time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just took his science and he was traveling with all his associates. So as they were going, so he got to a place and he asked his followers, say, do you bring any food with you? And they said, no, we didn't bring anything for us. He said, oh, very good. Thank you very much. Thank Krishna, you didn't bring anything with you. If you have brought anything with you, I will have sent all of you away. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing how a Sayansi should fully depend on Krishna and not on nothing on this material arrangement. A Sayansi should not depend on material arrangement. It should just fully depend on Krishna. That is the last stage of life. In the last stage of our life, we should solely depend on Krishna as a Sayansi and not on whatever material arrangement we have. You see? So in that way, a Sayansi is fearless, becomes fearless, and is completely surrendered to Krishna. Because for you to become liberated, you have to depend fully on Krishna and no one else. It's not even your intelligence. Okay? So in that way, Prabhupada is explaining here in the first quality, abhayam, that it belongs to a Sayansi. And if any of the ashrama dependent consciousness also, it's okay. You know, like Krishna will protect me no matter what, I'm not alone. And we can see that in the story of Srivas Thakur. The Sunday was the appearance day of Srivas Thakur. Srivas Thakur was a grihastha, but he was living like a Sayansi. He was a grihastha, but he was living like a Sayansi. Grihastha means one who's household, no? Managing a household. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Srivas Thakur, you are a grihastha. I'm not seeing you walking. Go and walk. Then Srivas Thakur told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my Lord, I will not walk. Then you should take science. Because if you don't want to walk, then you should take science. And Srivas Thakur said, my Lord, I will not take science. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you don't want to walk? You don't want to take science? How are you going to maintain your family? And Srivas Thakur told the Lord, my Lord, if I wait for 3 days, you don't provide food, I will tie stone on my neck and I will drown myself in the Ganga. Oh, the Lord said, oh, Srivas Thakur, so you have such faith in me that I will provide for you. Oh, that is very strong. Srivas Thakur, thank you for having such faith in me. no matter whatever happens, even if that day comes that the goddess of Lakshmi become, run out of wealth and start begging, which will never happen. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Srivas Thakur that if you have faith in him, the Lord loves love the people who have faith in him. If you have faith in God, God will love you so much. And to have faith in God in this world is very rare. It's not easy. That is why if even anyone in the creation, anywhere, anyone has any little faith in God, God becomes so happy. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say, Srivas Thakur, no matter whatever happens, if even the goddess Lakshmi become bankrupt, I will personally provide for your household. I will personally protect you, Srivas Thakur. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu shows that if you have full faith in God, God will provide and maintain you. Anaya Chintayan Chumam, Yejana Payu Pashate, Tesam Nityam Biyuktamam Yoga Sima Bahamya, and that is Bhagavad Gita 9:22. Krishna say, if you have faith in me, you serve me with exclusive devotion, I carry what you have and I preserve what you have. You see, that is if you have faith in God. But the truth of the matter is that not many of us have such faith. So don't try to imitate Srivas Thakur. Okay. So this Abhayam becoming fearless, only a sannyasi supposed to cultivate it now. Means, Krishna, I just depend on you. Whatever happened, whether in the darkest of the forest, whether I know that I'm not alone, you are with me, you are going to protect me, you are going to provide for me. Only the sannyasi, according to the Varnashram, should cultivate this consciousness. If a Grihastha can cultivate it, it's okay, but not always easy. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay? A Grihastha is supposed to be practical. I will give another story about Grihastha. One time, all the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Jagannath Puri, and there's one particular Grihastha disciple, followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His name is Vasudev Ghosh, Vasudev Datta. So Vasudev is a Grihastha, but he has the consciousness of a sannyasi. Means he doesn't save money for his future as a Grihastha. Whatever comes, he spends all, having faith that Krishna will provide another one tomorrow. So whatever comes today, he spend all. Whatever comes tomorrow, he spend all. Because it's having the consciousness and the faith of a sannyasi that Krishna will always provide. Then when they came to Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called Shivananda Sen, who is like the manager of the devotees, who brings the devotee every year to Jagannath Puri. And he told Shivananda Sen, please come. Vasudev, he has a consciousness of a pure devotee. And I'm worried about him because he's a Grihastha. He needs to save something for the future, for tomorrow. So please, can you help me manage Vasudev finances? So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling us also, as a Grihastha, we should have such consciousness that we should save for tomorrow. Even though Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appreciate the consciousness, or God appreciate consciousness that we should fully depend on him and don't think about tomorrow, but he's teaching us as a practical way of living that as a Grihastha, you must always think about how to save for tomorrow. So if a Grihastha has a such consciousness of a sannyasi, it's okay. It's very rare. But generally, this kind of consciousness or quality of fearlessness is meant for a sannyasi. Okay? So let's go to the next.
I'll read Prabhuji.
Yes, please.
Then he has to purify his existence. There are so many rules and regulations to be followed in the renewed order of the life. Most important of all, a sannyasi is strictly forbidden to have any intimate relationship with a woman. He is even forbidden to talk with a woman in a secured place. Lord Chaitanya was an ideal sannyasi, and when he was at Puri, his feminine devotees could not even come near to offer their respect. They were advanced to bow down from a distant place. This is not a sign of hatred for a woman as a class, but it is a strict imposed on the sannyasi not to have close connections with women. One has to follow the rules and regulations of a particular status of life in order to purify his existence. For a sannyasi, intimate relationships with women and possession of wealth, person's gratification are strictly forbidden. The ideal sannyasi was the Lord Chaitanya himself, and we can learn from his life that he was a very strict in the regards to women. Although he is considered to be the most liberal incarnation of Godhead, accepting the most fallen conditional souls, he strictly followed the rules and regulations of the sannyasi order of life in connection with the association with women. One of his personal associates, namely Chota Haridasa, was associated with the Lord Chaitanya along with his other confidential personal associates, but somehow or other this Chota Haridasa looked lustily on a young woman, and Lord Chaitanya was so strict that he at once rejected him from the society of his personal associates. Lord Chaitanya said for a sannyasi or anyone who is aspiring to get out of the cultures of material nature and trying to elevate himself to the spiritual nature and go back home, back to the Godhead. For him, looking towards material possessions and women for sense gratification, not even enjoying them, but just looking toward them with such a prosperity, is so commended that he had a better commit suicide before experiencing such illicit desires. So these are the process of purification.
Thank you very much. So this very nice Prabhupada already explained about the duty of a sannyasi here in this particular paragraph we are reading. That even, I remember when His Holiness Janananda Goswami Maharaj came, and when he was in Brajapur village, and he was giving initiation to the devotees, and as he was initiating the devotees, so some of the disciples, female disciples, they will have to meet Maharaj in his room. So Maharaj was so conscious of this principle that a sannyasi we should not meet a woman alone, that he asked me, because so many of the disciples who were with him that time were very busy. Say, Kavi, he called me. Can you come and sit down here? I don't want to be alone with this, my disciples coming to my room. Can you come and sit down here and just sit down here and be with me? This is how, they are showing us how to follow this principle of a sannyasa, order of life, So he asked me to sit down there, and I was sitting down. So he's the head of the society, he can do whatever he wants, but still they're very conscious of this principle that a sannyasi should not be left alone with a woman, with a female. It's not that they hate a woman, they don't eat, it's not hatred. It's just that it is mentioned in the scripture that a sannyasi should not stay alone with women. Because why? Woman and man staying together in a seclusion is like a butter and fire. The longer they stay together in that seclusion, you know what happened to butter? When fire continued to, when butter continued to stay in fire for a longer time, what happened? The butter will start melting. It's natural. So that is why it is prohibited for a sannyasi to stay alone with a woman in a seclusion. Even the scripture said that even one should not stay alone with one's sisters, should not stay alone with one mother in seclusion alone. And if you have been reading what is going on, sometimes a father should not stay with the daughter alone. And I've seen many of these on social media. Even in my country, I've seen some of these. A daughter, the father, will start becoming lustfully attracted to the daughter. We have seen this. It happens in society because they don't understand these scriptural injunctions. Sometimes you may be thinking, how can a father be attracted to the daughter? It happens. It's mentioned. If it doesn't happen, or if it's not happening, the scripture will not talk about it. So the sciences are very, very strict about this principle. And that is why you see Prabhupada mentioned in that purport that Chaitanya Prabhu, there's this story in Chaitanya Charitamrita about Chota Haridas. Chota Arida did not enjoy with the woman. He just had the thoughts, lustful thought towards the woman. And Chaitanya Prabhu rejected him from his association. Just lustful thought. He didn't think of enjoying the woman, just lustful thought. You see? And Chaitanya Prabhu immediately rejected him from his society. So a sannyasi, one who is in the renounced order of life, must follow this principle very strictly. He has to avoid the intimate association with a woman. It's not because they hate woman, it's not hatred. That is just the principle of a sannyasi. And we are going to read more about that also. Brahmachari also supposed to behave like that. A brahmachari, one who is practicing brahmachari life, supposed to avoid the intimate association with women. Sometimes you see nowadays, our brahmachari, they don't follow this principle because they think they are becoming transcendental. And before you know, they will start becoming disturbed, because if you don't follow the scriptural injunction, you find yourself in trouble. You see? So there are 8 principles of a brahmachari. You should not talk intimately with woman. You should not smile to a woman. You should not gossip with, all those principles are mentioned. You see nowadays a brahmachari smiling to a woman because he thinks that I'm transcendental. No, it's not. It should not happen. Or talk intimately with woman. No. So these are the principle of the Varna and ashramas, especially the sannyasi and the brahmachari. We're going to hear more about that later. Prabhupada will explain more. They are supposed to keep this principle very strictly. And even my Guru Maharaj also, I remember one time when I was in the temple president in Lagos, and my Guru Maharaj visited us. So he visited us, and he saw me that I was preaching to a lady in my office, and the office door was open. Not that it was closed, it was open. And I was preaching to that lady. So my Guru Maharaj was going up and down. He was going up and down, up and down. Then after some time, he called me. And he said, you are the leader. So you should not stay too long with the woman alone in your office, okay? I said, okay, Guru Maharaj. So you see, even he's thinking as a leader, you should avoid staying too long with a woman alone. He was thinking like that. Because you are the leaders of society, so people are watching your behavior, they're watching your activity, they're watching what you are doing. So whatever you are doing, that's what people are going to follow. He was thinking like that. So we should know this principle and try to follow them, because it's not that out of hatred for women. It's just the scriptural injunction that when a man and woman stay alone for a long time in one place together, their mind will start getting corrupt. Okay, what happened after that, everybody understands, So in order to avoid the corruption of the mind, we avoid, if you're a leader or you are a sannyasi, you are supposed to follow this principle very strictly. Okay, so let's continue.
I'll read it, Prabhuji.
Yes, please go ahead.
The next item is Gnana Yoga Vyavasthiti, being engaged in the cultivation of knowledge. Sannyasi life is meant for distributing knowledge to the householders and others who have forgotten their real life of spiritual advancement. A sannyasi is supposed to beg from door to door for his livelihood, but this does not mean that he is a beggar. Humility is also one of the qualifications of the transcendentally situated person, and out of sheer humility, the sannyasi goes from door to door, not exactly for the purpose of begging, but to see the householders and awaken them to Krishna consciousness. This is a duty of sannyasi. If he is actually advanced and so ordered by his spiritual master, he should preach Krishna consciousness with logic and understanding. And if one is not so advanced, he should not accept the renounced order of life. But even if one has accepted the renounced order of life without sufficient knowledge, he should engage himself fully in hearing from a bona fide spiritual master to cultivate knowledge. A sannyasi or one in the renounced order of life must be situated in fearlessness, sattva samshuddhi, purity, and jnana yoga, knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. So here, Prabhupada already explained the 3 quality of a sannyasi should cultivate in their ashram. What is that? One is fearlessness, Shatwa Shamsudi, purity of consciousness, means avoiding unnecessary mixing with women. And Jnana Yoga means proper mention in the beginning of that Jnana Yoga, vivacity, or cultivating of knowledge. So these are the major qualities a sannyasi should cultivate in his ashram. Krishna is mentioning in this particular. So a sannyasi should cultivate these three qualities. Fearlessness, you should know that Krishna we always protect him. You should not be scared to be alone, even in the forest. And the other one is purity of consciousness and behavior, character. Means that you should avoid desiring enjoyment of wealth. You should avoid wealth. A sannyasi should not keep wealth. They should not keep money. Like, okay, like keeping money for tomorrow. A sannyasi should avoid that, because it will corrupt the mind of the sannyasi. And also you should avoid the unnecessary association with women. Like Prabhupada explained very detail in that last paragraph. And the third one now is you should cultivate knowledge. Very, very important. Any question, comments so far? We have 3 minutes to end this section.
Because I have a question.
Okay, I have to go to the altar today, so I will stop exactly 7:30. Okay, please go ahead.
No, it's not a question, Prabhu. I'm just going to remind you, we forgot the feedback.
No, I didn't forget the feedback. I'm just holding it for another day.
Okay, Prabhu. My bad.
No, it's okay. We are going to come to the feedback. But let's continue with the classes first. Let us continue with the class and continue studying. Then, when I feel like I want also do the feedback, then I will bring it back again. Okay. Then I will see who has really listened to really give proper feedback. Okay. So don't worry. I remember. Okay. Any contribution or comments or question regarding what we have discussed so far today?
I had a doubt. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
please.
confused. Like, whether we have to save money for future or just we have to pass the day. Like, whatever
Very
we
nice.
did.
Very nice, Meghanandan, Meghanandana, Mataji. Thank you for your question. See, as a devotee, a grihasta should save money for the future. Okay? Even as a devotee, you should save money for the future. Those who are not supposed to save money for the future are the sannyasi. Okay? Those who have taken the renounced orders of life. Those are supposed to completely depend on Krishna for their maintenance and the society. Like Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, that sannyasi go around begging the householder, not that because they are a beggar, but because they want to awaken the householder into spiritual activity, spiritual life. That's why they go around begging. Okay, so these are the duties of sannyasi, awakening people to Krishna consciousness. Beg them so that whatever they give will be for their own purification, for the grihasta purification. So these are some of the things. That is why the sannyasi is doing some of these activities just to help others. But as a grihasta, we should, like I gave 2 stories, regarding this. I gave one extreme, one who just depend on Krishna, and I gave one where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself personally instructed a devotee to manage the other devotee finance. You see, so as a devotee, we should plan for the future. Okay, we should plan for the future. That is what Srila Rupa Goswami also taught us. Srila Rupa Goswami worked very hard, and when he was renouncing, even when you have worked as a devotee all your life, when you are renouncing also, like you want to completely devote your life to God and nothing else, you want to go and live in the Holy Land and think of nothing of this world again, just focus on God and God and nothing else. Even at that time, when you want to divide your wealth, the scriptures give us the method of dividing our wealth. You should take your wealth, whatever you have saved till that time, you should divide it into 50, half, 2 halves. Boom, you call it into 50-50. The 50 you give for the propagating of Krishna consciousness. It means you give to the temple. Okay, support this preaching, support that preaching. 50% you give to the temples. Then the remaining 50% remaining, you cut it into half again. Boom. You settle your family with the 25% of that 50. Then the remaining 25%, you keep it for your own emergencies. This is how the scripture told us to divide our wealth. Even when we have reached that age that we want to completely renounce this world and focus on God, still, we must still keep 25%. You see, just by dividing your wealth into 2 halves, 50-50 and giving half, it's not easy task. No one can easily do that. For someone to divide your whatever you have accumulated all your life into 2 halves and give half to God, you must be already a saint, a pure devotee of God. Because it's not easy task. People are always thinking, oh, my hard-earned money, why should I give it? No, I don't want to give it. You see, even to divide into 2 halves, you must be already a pure devotee. So, Mother Megan, so as a devotee, we should work and save for the future. Very, very important. Our duty as a devotee is that we should do our best and leave the rest. Okay? Is that okay? Okay, so there's not much more time.